Why is context so important when studying the Bible? What is wrong with looking at verses out of context? This is something that I'm always concerned when I'm making a video. I try to be as accurate as possible because we don't want to interpret the Bible wrong. So if a statement is out of context, the circumstances which it was said are not correctly reported. So it seems like it means something different from the original meaning, so from what it was intended. So that's when something is out of context, you try to interpret something in a different way. So when we study the Bible, we have to make sure that we are getting the message correctly. I thought it was a good idea to give you guys few examples on how we can use to interpret the Bible correctly. The main reason this is important is because if we understand something wrong, we're gonna repeat this to other people, and then we're gonna be communicating a different message from what God really wanted in the first place. So this is crucial. I would say this is very extremely important to get the Bible the right way, the real meaning. If we ended up doing the contrary, we will be going like against God's desire for our life, which include knowing His word accurately. We need to know it accurately so that way we can interpret it accurately, and teach it to others the right way. I have a text here, Ezra 17. It says, "For Ezra had set his heart to study the law of the Lord and to do it and to teach his statutes and rule in Israel." Ezra made this principle very extremely important. He wanted to learn it the way it was supposed to be, so he can teach it. He was a priest in the Old Testament, and he was concerned about this topic. If he was concerned, it's because it was important. So we have to be concerned. We have to try to do it the right way. Another concern with taking the Bible out of context is the temptation to interpret it the way we want it. The way we want something to mean. Like switch it to our own personal interpretation, and that's not good either. Those who have taken this misguided approach have used scripture to prove many practices as biblical. However, a practice is only biblical if it is based in accurate understanding of the scriptures. That includes studying the context surrounding a message, a passage, a story. We have to really pay attention on this regard. For example, just to make it a little easier, some have thought that slavery was biblical. Some preachers said that slavery was okay because in the Bible we see it in the Old Testament, right? But this is not a real teaching. This is not something that God really accepts. Because see, we have on let me see, I put here the example of Paul. When Paul was talking to Philemon, he was trying to convince Philemon to let his runaway slave Onesimus to let it free. So Paul was telling him, that to let it free because he deserved to be free as a man of God. So slavery was not okay. Even though it was mentioned in the Old Testament, it was not okay. I have also here Genesis 1:27. speak of men and women being created in God's image. God is a God of love. Is a faithful God. Is a fair God. So He wouldn't be like accepting um, people treating bad somebody, treating as an animal, because we know a horrible history in the past about slavery, the way they were treated. So God wouldn't be, um, in favor of that kind of activities. So that's another idea, just to another example uh, about how we should pay attention to interpret the Bible correctly, not putting it talking about out of context stuff. Like I have heard some people that say like the Lord is gonna come in a white horse. I think that's in Revelation at the end. The Lord is gonna come in a white horse, and He's gonna have a sword on His mouth. Okay, we can imagine somebody like having an actual sword in their mouth, right? So, so, but in order to understand that, we have to know that the Bible is considered a sword, a double blade sword. So what the Lord is gonna have is the Bible. He's gonna be coming. He's gonna come talking about the Bible and all the principles. He's gonna be, for instance, saying those that never follow my word are gonna go to hell or are not taken with me. I imagine, this is not in the Bible, but I'm imagining that something like that. He's gonna be talking about the word that's in the Bible, but he's not literally having a sword on his mouth. So it's very, very crucial to speak, to interpret the Bible the way it is. This is something that concerns me. When I do a video, I always pray. I say, God, guide me. You know that I'm trying to teach others what I know about you, what I learn about you, and I want to do it the right way. So, my friend, to close it up, Scripture encourages readers to study the full counsel of God. Acts 20:27. In Acts 20:27, the Apostle Paul told the elders in his presence, he said, I did not shrink from declaring to you the whole counsel of God. Our lives are to follow this same practice of study all of the God's word to accurately understand its teaching and apply them to our life. 2 Timothy 2:15, it says, do your best to present yourself to God as one approved, a worker who has no need to be ashamed, rightly handling the word of truth. So yes, the best way to don't fall into this practice is to ask God for guidance. Before you start reading the Bible, you ask the Lord to give you the wisdom, to give you the discernment, to understand His word the way it is, to feel that message that He really wants to communicate to you. That's the only way that we're gonna actually be successful in this sense, to get in the Bible the way it is, to interpret the message the right way, and then to teach it to others. We need God to give us that capacity, that intellect that some people call